All right, Texans fall to the Cowboys, and there's a lot to react to here on Reaction Monday. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610. You can see me on this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're pushing that 1,000 before the year gets done. At Landry Locker on Twitter, at Landry Locker on Instagram. The reaction today was pretty interesting. I think that the loss was the best thing for this team. A win could have been a potential disaster because I do think there's a decent chance the Texans find a way to win another game. I just with given the fact that they have AFC South opponents, I think that the Texans have somewhat of a chance to maybe do something interesting and get a dub. I don't, and that would be a bad thing for me because a win over Dallas, while it's fun, I know a lot of people hate Dallas. I know a lot of people want to beat the Cowboys. Some people wanted to beat the Cowboys more than they did the Browns. I want the number one pick. I want long-term success. I don't want like some random win over the Cowboys to get in the way of having that top pick. So I think it was a good result for the Texans. I thought it was a decent effort. That's not a moral victory. That's a victory with substance. So I thought the result was a-okay. Lovie Smith, on the other hand, you hear him talk about this, and this is where I want to start here on Reaction Monday. Lovie Smith, I mean, you would think that the Texans won the Super Bowl or something like that with the way that Lovie has talked about this. And look, I don't disagree that there are positives to take away from this. I just think Lovie Smith's kind of lost credibility when it comes to saying these types of things because he says it when there aren't positives to take away. So I don't mind a coach being positive, but when you play the Miami Dolphins and they bench Tua and they're running, too deep, basically Lovie Smith's defense 24/7, and you go up there and you say, well, we didn't quit fighting and we went out there and there's a lot of positives, you kind of lose credibility. So I think people kind of sour on that. I don't necessarily disagree with Lovie Smith, but I do find his summary interesting of the game. And I find his willingness to call out the offense and talk about how bad the offense is, I find it pretty rich coming from a guy who, outside of the 3 years where Ron Rivera called his defense and the 3 years where Rod Marinelli called his defense, when he has been calling defense, the defenses have been bad or mediocre. And that's been the case this year. Like the Texans defense, they benefit statistically from the poor offensive play because more times than not, teams are taking their foot off their gas in the second half. And Lovie Smith's defense right now, they're allowing the fourth most yards per game, and they're averaging the 26th. They're 26th in points per game. So they're near the bottom. They're dead last by far against the run, and the offense is bad too. The offense is dead last in yards per game, and they're 30th in points per game, and they're the second worst on third down. So they're bad. But they also allow the defense to kind of not really be pushed as much in second halves. This was Lovie Smith talking about the summary of how he saw the game going.
The effort today, I thought the guys just played hard.
I agree.
Start to finish. Offensively, we hadn't been able to do an awful lot lately.
I mean, you haven't done much on defense either, man. Like I know that against the Browns, the offense was the problem in Kyle Allen, but you really haven't done much on defense either.
But I thought first offensive line did a good job.
Agree.
So you like what those guys were able to do. Realize at the end we had an opportunity, first and goal inside the 5, needed to cast that in for a touchdown.
You know what else you needed to do? Not allow them to go 98, 99 yards to win the game. I mean, it's easy. And I know we live in an offensive world, but yeah, you did need to cash that in. And I agree. And it looked like a disaster. And Rex Burkhead should never touch the ball in those situations. And it looked like it was supposed to be a reverse speed option, and maybe Rex Burkhead didn't sell it, or Jeff Driscoll went the wrong way. But either way, yeah, you probably should have cashed that in. But you know what else you probably could have done? Not left the middle of the field wide open to where Dallas easily drove down the field and scored a touchdown. So it's cool that you want to call out the offense, but what about your defense? They gave up over 400 yards. What about your defense that allowed Dak Prescott to just drive down the field at the end of the game? What about that? Because I get that Dallas on both sides of the ball has more talent. I get that. And I get that your corners are out, but there was no Brandon Cooks. There was no Nico Collins. Dameon Pierce got hurt. Pep Hamilton using Jeff Driscoll the way he did yesterday allowed the game to remain close. I think he deserves a lot of a credit for that. I think that is a tangible coaching change that led to 2 touchdowns. Jeff Driscoll, clear spark after the muff punt, made a play with his arm. So I don't disagree that Pep Hamilton sucks as an offensive coordinator, and I would never want him to call my offense. I wouldn't hire him to run my peewee offense. But Lovie as a defensive coordinator, not very good. And there's a way larger sample size of Lovie calling crappy defenses than there is Pep Hamilton calling bad offenses. You take away Ron Rivera the first 3 and Rod Marinelli the last 3 in Chicago, Lovie Smith has a history of not calling very good defense. And go back and look at that final drive. Look how wide open. I know they made some big plays, but look how wide open the middle of that field was. Sometimes I feel like Pep Hamilton's kind of a shield for Lovie Smith to where he tries to draw some sort of like 1985 Bears, like Ditka versus Buddy Ryan type of line down the middle of the sand as if the defense is carrying. Defense has been asked this year. Again, 4th most yards per game, 26th in points per game. Yeah, they should have got it in. You allowed 99 yards or 98, 95, whatever the hell it was. You allowed that to look pretty damn easy.
And defensively, whenever you can take the ball away,
that's not you, though. Thing. That's not you. You
also
didn't do
down
anything.
A couple. When Steve Nelson went down a couple of our starting cornerbacks. But
yeah, you were down a couple of your starting cornerbacks, just like the offense was down. Dameon Pierce, Nico Collins, and Brandon Cooks. Do y'all not see this? Like, do y'all not hear this? Maybe I listen to every press conference. It's part of my job. He's willing to call out the defense. It's crazy.
To build on, we understand it's late in the year on building on something, but where we are, that is a big thing.
Okay, it's a big thing. It's insane. Yeah, your corners were out. Okay. Pep didn't have the receivers. So, okay. I think, and I asked this question, is Pep Hamilton Lovie Smith's shield? Yes, I do. They're both awful at calling at being coordinators. Lovie's a bad coordinator. It's right there. Like, the closer you look at it and you realize, again, Rivera first 3, Rod Marinelli was brought on the final 3 so Lovie could avoid being fired based on the 2 7-9 seasons that he had when he was calling the defense in Chicago. Go look at what happened in Tampa Bay. I think he butted heads with Leslie Frazier, just like he did Ron Rivera. Okay. Whatever, Lovie. Whatever. This was another interesting thing. He couldn't really help himself. DJ Bieneme of ESPN asked Lovie about the quarterback situation. This is what Lovie said.
What are the chances that you'll continue running the 2-quarterback system as the season progresses?
DJ, come on, man. Come on, man. All right, this is what we're going to do. You probably know the answer, right? You can ask it and you can answer. But it's about 30 minutes after the game. If y'all expect me to give these kind of answers right now, we're going to evaluate it. We like what we're able to do with it today. We'll see what gives us the best option to give us a chance to beat Kansas City, another team that has a chance to win it all. We're excited about coming back home and playing.
Okay, there you go. Answer the question. I mean, it's not difficult. Comments, shout out to everyone. Please subscribe. I want Pep and Lovie out, done, fired. Yeah, they need to be done. It's a hard watch, but Lovie ain't much better than Pep. Let's just make that very clear. Lovie actually, let me put it this way: if this offense scored more, the opposing offenses, they would be putting it on the Texans a lot more than they have in the second half. You guys watch the games. Most of you people that come in here, you watch the games. It's easy. It's easy to look at the stats and know that this offense sucks. It's easy to look at the stats and know that this defense sucks, but it's also easy if you watch the entire games to know that this defense could be doing a much worse job. Although there is something positive. I'll get to that after I go through the comments here in the locker room. TJ says, Landry, I had a random thought that would be dope. I think the Texans have a real chance on being on Hard Knocks. If they get a new head coach and GM, would be some excitement, I would think. I like when they're on Hard Knocks. So I like your thought there, TJ. I think that would be extremely fun. I think it would probably be a little bit more exciting than the BOB. So I like your thought there. Schultz was running around free 99. Exactly. Like at the end of that game, the way that the defense was playing, and it's really how Lovie Smith plays defense. They were wide open right in the middle of the field. And I'm going to say this before I get to this comment. Pep Hamilton outcoached Lovie Smith yesterday. He made a tangible adjustment. With Jeff Driscoll. Was it a disaster at the end? Yes, absolutely. The speed option, handing it to Burkhead. Burkhead shouldn't be on the field at this point. What the hell did Lovie do the final 99? It is hilarious for Lovie Smith to go. Listen to this again. Just listen to how unaccountable this is to call out. Talk about the defense. And Lovie Smith says that the defense had an uphill battle because they didn't have their starting corners. Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins weren't playing. Okay? It's real rich to talk about, oh, yeah, it's good to get some takeaways. Yeah, Tremont Smith made the play. But it is real rich to say that and then not even acknowledge that you allowed a 99-yard drive in less than 3 minutes.
The effort today, I thought the guys just played hard from start to finish. Offensively, we hadn't been able to do an awful lot lately, but I thought first offensive line did a good job. So you like what those guys were able to do. Realize at the end we had an opportunity, first and goal inside the 5, needed to cast.
You had an opportunity to stop them, man. They went the whole length of the field. You're just not going to mention that?
That in for a touchdown. And defensively, whenever you can take the ball away, that's a big thing. Also down a couple, when Steve Nelson went down a couple of our, starting cornerbacks. But
yeah, like they were down with receivers the whole game. I mean, do y'all not hear this? And Tremont Smith and Desmond King played really well too.
To build on, we understand it's late in the year on building on something, but where we are, that is a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how unaccountable he is, but he's willing to throw Pep under the table. Pep outcoached you, sir. He outcoached you, sir. We need a new proven offensive head coach or OC to start off fresh with Bryce Young. Bryce Young and Lon, a big reason why an OC would come to the Texans. Yeah, maybe. I'm honestly worried they won't be fired. We need younger and innovative coaches. We can't have dinosaurs who lost touch with the game coaching our new players. I agree. There is no innovation to Lovie. Lovie's going to coach the way Lovie coaches. He's going to play deep zone. The middle of the field is going to be wide open, and that's just where it's at. Pep Hamilton, yeah, bad. Worse than Tim Kelly. I got a bad feeling this team will ignore the blatantly obvious and go with Pep and Lovie one more year because of the smartest guy in the room mentality. I would be shocked if that happened, but if it does happen, good luck selling that to the fan base. Remember when you told McClain about Lovie being a bad defensive coordinator and he blew you off? What's he think now? He's on tomorrow at 11. I don't know. Yeah, I remember that. He was pretty funny about that. If you're able to answer, Landry Locker, what do you think of the chances that Pep and Lovie get fired at the end of the season? Because it doesn't look like they're considering. I think they're both gone. I would bet on it. Fire both coordinators, 3 birds with 1 stone. Concur. Best option, Rex Burkhead at the goal line. Yeah, I'm not saying that that was a good decision. I don't think Rex Burkhead should be on the team. I think that's as much about Caserio as anything. I don't think their running back depth is a joke. Like Nick Caserio should be embarrassed by it. Marlon Mack, by the way, scored a touchdown yesterday, 65 yards receiving, 15 carries. 15 yards on 3 carries. There's running back depth all over the league. I actually think the Texans should consider overpaying Tony Pollard or bringing in someone else. They need to look at the running back depth's embarrassing. On a good football team, on a bad football team, to be running what they're running out there is embarrassing. It's pathetic. And I don't use that word too loosely, but that's just what it is. So I'm not saying Pep Hamilton is flawless. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve some blame, but I mean, teams get stopped on 4th down, teams get stopped on the goal line, and better offensive coordinators than Pep Hamilton do. So yeah, I don't think it was great. Pierce was also hurt. So there is that, but whatever. Props to Harris and Petrie for getting some highlight tackles. Yeah, I thought the rookies looked good yesterday, except Kenyon Green. It's been a rough season for him for many reasons. After going to Jerry World and watching this game, it's sickening to hear Lovie complain. Yeah, Lovie was actually in a good mood. He just likes to call out the offense and just ignore the defense. They bring Lovie back. They need a new DC and OC. Yeah, he should not be calling defense. He should not. Lovie Smith should not be calling defense. There's a large body of work to show that. I think Lovie's now 10 games under 500 in his NFL career, and I think he's 30 games under 500 total in his coaching career. But yeah, he should not be calling defense. When is Cal going to grow a pair and stop being got my Easterbees of the world, Nick and Lovie, and do the exact same thing? Cooking hot dogs and burgers in the preseason won't change my opinion. I get it. I don't know why he gets made fun of for the hamburgers. I thought the hamburger thing by Cal was sick. I thought it was nice. And I like Cal and Hannah. Shout out to the linebackers tipping a lot of balls. Linebackers played all right yesterday. I'll agree with you on that, although they are a lot of times put opposition. Landry had a random thought that would be dope. I think the Texans have a real chance of being a hard night. Yeah, I think we already got to that. Starting to smell like Bryce Young and Bijan Robinson first round next year. Sign me up for that. People might be getting 2 jerseys there. I don't even know what jersey to get right now. There'd be Bryce Young and Bijan all over the place. Maybe Caserio could take the running. I don't know what Caserio is going to do about running back, but he's got to do something. Frank Ross for head coach, fire everyone else. I don't know if Frank's going to be a head coach. Maybe you mean for the remainder of the year. I'd rather see them on hand off the rock to the OG John Lopez than Burkhead. Seriously. Yeah, that would be entertaining. Probably same results. Lopez might get carted off. That would actually be pretty funny. I'm just kidding. Although he might. I would probably get carted off if you handed it to me. Girls looking at me like I'm like wishing ill will on Lopez. I'm just saying it would be funny. I would get carted off too. You dry pad. There you go. Landry, in your opinion, how attractive does the Texans look if we do get? I think it's attractive. I think there's a lot of really good assets. I also like kind of compare it to like a relationship. Like Nick Caserio has he's gotten you through this situation, but now you're going to be in a better position. You're going to be in a better situation. So is Nick Caserio the guy that you want to make the draft picks? I would say yes, he deserves it, but I would definitely evaluate the situation. I think it's going to be attractive. Do you feel Kenyon Green will get better? I do, but I do think that if you gave me a chance to redo that pick right now, I would. I would not necessarily redo the Stingley, although Sauce Gardner does look pretty damn good. And damn, he gets Michael Jordan calls. I don't know how Sauce Gardner does it, but for some reason, man, that they don't call pass interference on him. There's been a couple times that like Jets Twitter and stuff. By the way, what's up with Jets Twitter? I said that they were kind of a flukish squad early on, kind of got jumped on like a trampoline. DJ Bieneme, my boy, he threw me out there to Jets Twitter. How y'all living now? Probably not too good. But I still like Stingley. Especially with the right coach, right scheme. I think they're resting him right now. So, I'm not like completely, but if you gave me a chance to redo that Kenyon Green pick, God, I would do that quickly. I still think he could end up being a good player, but man, this is bad. He's got a lot of stuff to get through. Which is more embarrassing, Navy fumbling at the goal line or the Texans red zone? Probably Navy, man. And that was sad. I felt really bad for that guy. I was I was actually 10 feet from him when he did it on the sidelines, and I felt really bad for him. Screw them burgers and dogs. Cal needs to be handing out hundies like Jim Irsay. No, that I agree with. I can agree. The hundies, it doesn't need to sign them though. That's the one thing. Irsay signs the $100 bill. I mean, I don't need your autograph. I'm spending this no matter what, so I don't need that. So I'm with you on that. With all this said, and with all of the talk, I do think that Pep Hamilton is kind of Lovie's shield. I do want to give Nick Caserio some credit. I think he's done a pretty good job of fixing the secondary. And not just for this year, but maybe even for the long term. I think that you look at the depth, Desmond King and Tremont Smith, I think those guys are really good, like 3 through 5 corners. They both can help in other areas as well. I like Steven Nelson. I think he's a good, solid starting corner. Got caught kind of in no man's land yesterday, where he had his back turned and Dak rolled out. That's impossible almost for a corner to stop. But I like what Caserio's done with the secondary. I like Jalen Petrie. I like Jonathan Owens as a reserve safety. He's having to start in this situation, and maybe he improves. That hit yesterday was very impressive. But I think like one of the things that Nick Caserio needed to improve and really invested a lot in improving in the offseason was the secondary. And he used his first pick on Derek Stingley, who I think is going to be good. He used his first pick in the second round on Jalen Petrie, and he went and got Steven Nelson in free agency. So I think this is very beneficial. I think it's not just a checker move. I think it's a chess move that they're going to benefit from. And I think it's Nick Caserio's some of his best work, the job he's done with the secondary. So when you're on a crappy team, when you have to cover a crappy team, it's easy to bitch a lot. And it's easy to complain. And it's easy to get frustrated. But I do want to give Nick Caserio credit for the job he's done with the secondary. And I think he deserves some props for that. Kobe Tree says, fresh hat. Yeah, this is one of the new ones in the souvenir shop. If you want to check it out. It's the H-Town. It's the one that Bregman was wearing. Got the H-Town on the side. Got the logo there. And it's got the H. They sold out pretty quickly. But I was able to scoop it. So if you want to get that in the souvenir shop, I think they got it on HoustonTexans.com. It's clean as a whistle. Pep Hamilton's play calling has hurt me more than my ex-wife. Man, Brown Chubby Bear. Goodness. He might be. Damn, I don't even know where to go there. Shout out to Texans Reddit King Brown Chubby Bear, and sorry about your ex-wife. The next head coach has to be so clear. Our boy Ryans from the 49ers. Like, could you imagine? They always make things so much harder than they need to be. The next hire will say a lot about Nick. D'Amico's nice, man. The 49ers, they got a lot of injuries. I think Debo's out 4 to 6 weeks. They've lost 2 quarterbacks. But the defense has done well. They got some ballers on there. Let's not get that twisted. He's not going to have that same type of talent here, but the 49ers have allowed 20 points or less, I believe, in 6 straight games, and D'Amico's going to be a head coach next year. It's going to be the 3rd straight year that the 49ers have lost an assistant. They lost Saleh a couple years ago, lost Mike McDaniel last year. I think D'Amico's on his way. Facebook user, love Petrie, but why does he attempt to tackle so high? Where'd you get the nice hat? Houston Texans pro shop. Petrie attempting to tackle so high, not sure. Guys, this is really Nick's first year. Last year was kind of zero due to the state of the organization was. I agree, but you still got to ask yourself, what mistakes has he made? And do you trust him to be the guy to take the team in the right direction in the future? I think that needs to be asked, but I agree. I mean, I think Lovie was fine this year. I've never been like, I know there's a lot of straw man arguments, and I saw some of these like indirectly mentioned on Twitter. Y'all have watched this channel. I've never once said that Lovie Smith was the wrong hire this year. Not one time have I said that. I've never said that. I've never even held that against Nick Caserio. I've never said that. I didn't even say anything about the Culley situation. Because I don't think those are harmful decisions. Bill O'Brien, as a general manager, made decisions that set you back to where you were saying it's going to take this many years to get through it. We're still going through that. If you hire the wrong coach 2 years ago and you hire the wrong coach this year, but then heading into next year, you've got $75 million in extra cap space because you've gotten rid of those contracts, and you have 3 of the top 32 picks, 1, and then maybe 2 in the top 15. You really didn't do that much more harm. As a matter of fact, you can make a case that you're actually in a better spot. So, yeah, I'm willing to be patient with Nick. There is some stuff that he does that gets on my nerves. Some of the stuff he says, I think he sounds a lot like Easterby. I wouldn't want Easterby within 500 feet of my organization. As a matter of fact, if he went to the game, I would make it a rule. You had to sit in the 4 or 500 section. But yeah, I'm willing to be patient. I'm worried about Kenyon Green. Hopefully he shows improvement. We're going to be able to see what's up with Kenyon Green when minicamp comes through. We're going to see how he physically looks. So yeah, there's that. Lopez was saying he wanted to hear Seth thought about the left guard. What does Wade Smith think about him and his technique? I talked to Wade last week. I didn't ask him about Kenyon Green. I'm imagining he probably thinks that it stinks. And he needs to figure it out. But some of these guys, like I think Kenyon Green's going to look completely different physically at minicamp, and I think he's going to work hard. I don't think he doesn't work hard. So we'll see what happens there. Build the line in free agency and draft a pass rush running back. Screw that, man. We built the line enough. Got 2 really good tackles. Kenyon Green's going to be a starter. You only have 2 spots that you got to worry about, center and guard. I want to overpay. I want the running back to make the offensive line better. Same Chubby Bear, same Fire Pep. What's best for the books is to keep Lovie. Okay, I don't know what that means. Could we get an elite OC and better DL for Lovie next year? No, we need Lovie to go. Okay, we need Lovie to go. Better odds, us drafting Will Anderson or Beard keeping his job at Texas. I don't know, man. I'm waiting to see what happens with that Chris Beard thing. There's a lot of people that are like firing off takes. I don't know what happened. So we'll see what happens. If what a lot of people are speculating happened, then yeah, he needs to go. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have like a steaming hot take on that. And it seems like some of these journalists are trying to chase the story. Okay. So we've heard what they're saying in Houston. Seems like Lovie Smith's pretty proud of his effort yesterday. And he seems to kind of like what went down in Dallas, man. They are getting absolutely killed for what went down yesterday. Listen to Micah Parsons talking about the Cowboys win yesterday and their performance.
It's very frustrating. Obviously not a clean win, not how we want to come out and perform. I wouldn't say we came in sleepwalking. I just think that, they made some really big plays with the fumbles and interceptions. I mean, they came in like it was their Super Bowl and they gave us their best shot. And, I'm just glad we was able to fight through the adversity.
Okay. There you go. Golly, though, man. It was their Super Bowl. Like they were getting grilled. Some sad times in Dallas yesterday. They did get the dub, but I mean, you would have thought they lost by 30 with the way people were talking about it. Speaking of sad, my guy, one of my favorite people, had many good conversations with this guy about the business and the organization. If the Texans do ever win the Super Bowl, I will be happiest for Mark Vandermeer, the legend, the only voice we've had of this organization, one of the best men that you will ever meet, one of the most charismatic men you will ever meet. I think Mark Vandermeer belongs in the Ring of Honor, but I don't appreciate him taking a shot at me this week during the broadcast. My producer, Figgy Fig, caught this. Vandy has not denied. As a matter of fact, he's all but confirmed. Last week, a popular topic on our show, In the Loop, by the way, on the Odyssey app, 10 to 2, Monday through Friday, Sports Radio 610. Best way to follow this team. Player interviews. We're in the locker room. We're in the mix. We know everybody up there. We had a discussion about whether or not this was a rivalry. I said, no, it's not a rivalry. The teams in your division are your rivals. The Texans and Cowboys don't have a long enough history. They don't have enough moments for this to be a rivalry. The Cowboys have the Eagles. They have the Washington football team / Commanders. They have the Giants, like Steelers back in the day. Those are their rivals. Texans rivals are Titans, Colts. Those are their rivals. Mark Vandermeer disagreed. Mark Vandermeer, with 8 minutes left, took a shot at your boy.
8:01 to go, fourth quarter. Hang on. Who says it's not a rivalry? 23-20, Houston leads. Back on D after this message from your local station.
Come on, man.
8:01 to go, fourth quarter. Hang on. Who says it's not a rivalry?
Me. I said that. And you knew that, Mark. Still love you, man. Still love you. Why you got to hurt my feelings like that? Oh, Lord. Jordan Walker asked, any chance at Lamar Jackson? That would be a bad decision. They don't need to be paying a quarterback best in the league, especially someone who's kind of gotten hurt. I'm the biggest Lamar Jackson fan there is. I want him to get his money. I like everything that he represents. I like what he stands for. I like his innocence. I don't think he gets the respect he deserves, but I don't think in this situation Lamar would be good. I think he needs to just stay in Baltimore, keep winning games. Green started off pretty well. He definitely has the mentality. I guess now we're just going to see if he has the work ethic. I don't know that he started off pretty well. He came into camp out of shape. He got hurt. He didn't even start at the start of the year, and then he got bullied for consecutive weeks. I don't think this is like a fall off or anything. You might have a different opinion than I, which is great. That's the beauty of this. But no, I do not think that he did. As a matter of fact, we were at training camp. He was not even starting with the ones in training camp. He was actually with the two. So I'll disagree with you on that, but keep commenting. I think the coach needs to be able to play the best player available, not Nick's buddy. I take it you may be referring to Rex Burkhead. I'm not sure. Nick's best work has been the handling of the cap situation. False. I think we disagree again. I think, and you can ask Texans Cap on this. Texans Cap is a lot smarter than me on this. First of all, they're paying Shaq Lawson, I think, $6 million this year when they could have just saved $8 million by releasing Bernardrick McKinney. They instead traded him to Miami, and they took back Shaq Lawson's contract. The Marcus Cannon trade, I think they're paying him $5 million. I mean, they're clearing up the cap situation, but the cap situation was going to clear up. Furthermore, Laramie Tunsil, I think, is like a $30+ million cap hit next year. And he's going to get a new contract, which is good because Laramie's been really good. But he has all the leverage right now. So like the cap nerds are actually not impressed with Caserio's handling of the cap. It's getting wiped away, but it was eventually going to get wiped away anyways. And Spencer Tillman said that a while, and he was trying to explain it, but the cap nerds actually disagree with you on that. And there's like, $75 million in dead cap, which I have no problem taking on the chin, but yeah, I don't know that he's done great. I think the Watson trade was actually better than the cap handling, and I think that was the most important thing. I'm actually incredibly impressed with the way he handled the Watson trade. The patience, the way in which he maneuvered around the no trade clause, basically had teams competing. I actually thought that was Nick's best work, but I appreciate the comments there. Let's see what else we got. I wonder where the team would be had they passed on Coley and hired the coach from the Giants. Forgot his name. Seems Caserio's hiring. You might be talking about Brian Dable. I don't know that Brian Dable was going to come here. Brian Dable could be patient. Texans Super Bowl, haha, like they have done something. Yeah, you're talking about Micah Parsons with the Cowboys. I have said remarks. Can you please understand we are not as knowledgeable as yourself in everything football, and so just remember that, please. Thanks. Don't know what that means. I remember whatever you say, I'll just respond to. I don't think you buying that Young might be staying in school. Man, I wonder how much money you can make at Alabama. with NIL and all that type of stuff. I don't think that he will, but I do think eventually NIL, especially with like the guys who are projected in the 3rd to 7th round at big schools that are big men on campus, BMOCs as I like to call them. I do think they will stay. I don't know what Bryce Young is going to do, but I gotta envision like I think you could make close to 10 mil when it comes to that. When the Jets and Giants play against each other, is that a rivalry? Yes, they share a stadium. They know each other. They got a lot of history. This game is a rivalry battle for Texas bragging rights. Okay. You're not alone in that opinion. Should we hold out for the QB of USC of 2024? I would not. They need to clean house, including Mark Vandermeer. Come on, George. You're going to hell on scholarship for that one. Juan says, if we played Dallas every other 2 years, it'd be wrong. Yeah, they don't play enough either. I think that's kind of an issue as well. New coaching staff, new QB, first pick trade. Yeah, I think it's appealing. The scary thing about Green is he's not coming to look like an athlete, not mature. Tunsil. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Although I think Tunsil's had a good attitude this year. Twisted Combos. Hey, Landry, do you have something special planned streaming YouTube on the draft? We'll do something, man. And that's where I was really trying to get home. And that's why I'm trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. Consistent content, informative, entertaining content was the goal as much as possible. Been doing it once a day since the season started. Then we'll kick it up. When the draft happens, it's going to be popping. Some guys start YouTube channels. They're just trying to monetize. They're just trying to get some extra clicks. It's corny. It's cheesy. But I'm just trying to make this authentic, credible, all that type of stuff. So, yeah, we'll have something special going for the draft. OY says Texans need to bring in elite players, of course. They need to bring in an elite high-caliber coach, of course. We understand the last years have been terrible, but they haven't accomplished anything since inception. That is fair, I think. Careful talking about Spencer. Man, whatever. Spencer, I guess you're referring to when Spencer called in the show. Look, he said that Tim Kelly was a top 5 play caller in the league. Like that, there was nothing like that. And I talked to him a little bit, although he has kind of like still, I don't know, Spencer. But yeah, he said Tim Kelly was a top 5 play caller. He talked about the cap. And then he mentioned like Tom Brady and Davis Mills and not wearing a thing, whatever. But that was kind of my mistake because he was on Texans radio and it's not, I mean, you got to take with a grain. I should have taken with a grain of salt that he's just saying, I don't know. He's just kind of saying stuff. And that's fine. That's all good. How do you compare? I don't think fans need that type of stuff. I don't think they need smoke blowing up their butt in this situation. How do you compare Bryce Young and Kyler Murray besides being undersized? They both got really good arm talent. Bryce Young is way less of a prima donna. They both do a really good job of protecting themselves. They both do a good job of making plays when they roll out. Bryce Young is a little bit more accustomed to be able to run like any type of offense, pro style, et cetera. I think you have to run kind of an air raid type with Kyler, but I think there are similarities. I think the intangibles are a lot different, though. I think Bryce Young's a little bit more of a lead. Brown Chubby Bear. What would you think? Caserio took a flyer on Josh Heupel, Tennessee, as head coach. I wouldn't think much of it. Although I thought, you should have done that instead of hiring Brent Venables. As I told the owners, go away. Cool division movement. What if they brought O'Brien back? I'm ignoring you, Jordan. I know you're just trying to rile me up, talking about bringing back O'Brien. Although I do wonder what O'Brien says about the Texans. I'm sure he's got some good things. You still drafting Levis or Richardson at 1? No, I'm not. I'm adjusting completely. Although I think Levis might get some sort of consideration. That'll be interesting. And we will do a really good thing. Bryce Young is billboard material. By a good thing, I mean, we'll break the hell out of that, break that down. If that does happen. I want to throw a couple things at you from my Twitter feed. I have to do a radio hit in Las Vegas in 4 minutes, but I just want to pull up my Twitter feed and show you the worst thing to happen yesterday and a wild ass scenario. All right. This was Dan Quinn yesterday. What in the hell was that? whose idea was it to use this camera angle for Dan Quinn and show his chode, his flab, and the fact that he puts the whole damn broadcast thing on his pants? Someone should have been fired for this. I could not get that out of my head. Of all the ugly ass thing that happened yesterday, this was the ugliest. My gosh. Next thing I kind of want to present, and this is really crazy when you think about it, but Jacksonville could win the AFC South. And I want you to tell me how wild you think this scenario is. The Jags right now are 5-8. If they win 2 of their next 3 games, they got Dallas, they got the Jets, and they got the Texans. If they win 2 out of 3, and the Titans lose 2 of their next 3 to the Chargers, Texans, and Cowboys, then if Jacksonville beats Tennessee at the end of the season, the 8-9 Jags win the AFC South. All be damned. Sounds crazy, but maybe it's not so crazy. After all, we'll see. Tomorrow, we will have John McClain on. He's apparently sick and wants to still do a call-in, which I just think is weird. We'll see how he sounds. We'll ask him about this. The Dan Quinn comments are coming in. I don't know what was up with that angle. They did it twice too. Don't know. But we will get into that. Chiefs are coming to town. We're giving away front row seats tomorrow on the radio. If people don't go, I will continue to spread the love and get people in the stadium that might usually not be able to go with the ticket exchange, although I think a lot of people might want to see Patrick Mahomes. And we'll just keep it going. We got 4 weeks left. Not going to lie. I'm really, really excited for the offseason. But we got 4 left. We need to get that number 1 pick. I appreciate you all for tuning in, supporting, continuing to support the Texans, continuing to support football in Houston, continuing to support the channel. Subscribe to the Locker Room. Fire up the Odyssey app, at Landry Locker on Twitter, at Landry Locker on Instagram. Remember, no matter how frustrating it gets, no matter how many losses, no matter how many bad picks, no matter how much back and forth, no matter how bad it gets, we are all in this together. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.